The sun glowed fiercely above the wide country club lawn, refusing to let old shadows hide. As a sleek helicopter sliced through the calm sky, guests looked up in stunned disbelief. None expected that the woman stepping out would be the girl they once broke, returned, transformed, unshaken. If you believe in compassion, hope, and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more stories. Let's begin. Warm sunlight spilled over the emerald lawn of Greenwood Heights Country Club as a helicopter descended, its blades scattering petals from the garden arch below. The reunion guests, dressed in polished shoes and shimmering dresses, shielded their eyes, exchanging confused murmurs. No one expected a dramatic entrance at a casual 10-year gathering. When the door finally opened, a hush rolled through the crowd. Aubrey Cole stepped out, her ivory dress catching the light like silk dipped in gold. Her hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders, her posture elegant enough to quiet even the most talkative of her former classmates. For a moment, no one recognized her. Then Kayla's forced smile faltered. Brittany's drink nearly slipped from her hand. The boys who once made her cry stood frozen. The girl they once mocked had returned, but as a woman transformed. Years earlier, Aubrey was the girl everyone avoided or targeted. She wore thrift store clothes that never fit quite right and shoes that were often a bit too small. Lunchtime meant sitting alone, pretending she was busy while blinking back tears. The popular girls, Kayla, Brittany, and their glittering entourage, turned her life into entertainment. They laughed when her backpack ripped, recorded her crying after a cruel prank, and whispered insults that followed her through every hallway. Teachers looked past her. Students looked through her. The only person who ever truly stopped was Mr. Alden, the elderly janitor with kind eyes and a quiet voice. He always told her, "You're stronger than you think, Aubrey. Stronger than any of them will ever understand." She clung to those words long after graduation. They became the foundation of her survival. When Aubrey stepped into adulthood, the world didn't welcome her with open arms. She worked endless shifts, cleaning offices at dawn, stocking shelves at midnight, all while taking online business classes with money she barely earned. Loneliness haunted her. Exhaustion lived in her bones. Trauma echoed through her whenever someone raised their voice or looked at her too long. But she refused to crumble. One late afternoon, everything shifted. She wandered into a tiny artisan candle shop searching for a cheap gift. The store smelled of lavender and cedar, warm and comforting. Behind the counter stood Joanna Reed, an elderly entrepreneur with silver hair and gentle warmth in her eyes. Joanna saw something in Aubrey immediately. Potential, determination, a softness that hardship hadn't managed to extinguish. She offered her a job on the spot. Aubrey accepted without realizing her life had just changed. Aubrey poured her entire heart into the little candle shop. She redesigned labels, created new scents, built an online presence, and connected with customers as if each one mattered. Because to her, they did. Within 2 years, sales soared beyond anything Joanna had achieved in decades. And when Joanna passed away, she left the entire shop to Aubrey in her will. With trembling hands and a heart full of gratitude, Aubrey transformed the brand into Heartend Haven, a global luxury wellness empire. Her products filled boutique hotels, airport gift shops, and curated subscription boxes around the world. Behind every success article about her, behind every interview praising her brilliance, Aubrey carried the memory of the girl who once hid in bathroom stalls to escape cruelty. She promised that girl she would never be invisible again. When the invitation to her 10-year reunion arrived, Aubrey immediately recognized the shallow politeness of the handwriting. She could almost hear the familiar smirks tucked between the words. But she chose to go, not to show off, not to seek revenge, but to honor her journey. Inside the event hall, heads turned as she entered. Some gasped quietly. Others tried to pretend they weren't staring. Kayla's smile looked painted on. Brittany blinked excessively, unsure whether to approach or flee. Even the boys who once laughed at her thrift store clothes suddenly seemed small in their perfectly tailored suits. Aubrey didn't rush. She didn't flinch. She simply walked among them with quiet dignity, greeting people with polite nods, but never surrendering an inch of her self-worth again. Her strength was louder than any insult they had ever thrown. She stopped at a photo display arranged along the wall, memories from school days, taped beside yearbook quotes. Her eyes caught a familiar picture. Herself at 15, sitting alone on a bench, clutching a worn backpack, looking as if she were trying to disappear. Aubrey lifted the corner of the frame gently. But instead of sadness, she felt gratitude. Gratitude for surviving, for enduring, for becoming the woman who now stood before the same people who once broke her spirit. Behind her, whispers softened. Is that really Aubrey? She looks incredible. I feel awful about how we treated her. Regret rippled through the room like a quiet tide. But Aubrey didn't turn around. She didn't need apologies. She didn't need validation. She had not returned for them. She had returned for the girl in that picture. Aubrey stepped outside into the warm afternoon sun, closing her eyes as a gentle breeze swept across her face. The helicopter waited nearby, its blades ready to lift her back into the life she built from resilience. As she rose into the sky, watching the country club shrink beneath her, something loosened in her chest. A weight she had carried for years finally dissolving. She had rewritten her ending. She understood now. Her worth had never been defined by bullies. Her scars had become her strength. Her success was a testament to resilience, not revenge. She had become the woman her younger self prayed for. And she flew away not as the fragile girl they mocked, but as the living proof that pain does not decide a person's destiny. Courage does. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe to keep more unforgettable stories coming.